away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope everyone's well. It's Monday. Spurs are still top of the league. How good is that? Every week at the moment we're saying that. So long may it continue. This video today is a little bit different. By the way, we are still going to have our main podcast later on tonight at 8:30 UK time. So make sure you jump on board for that one. But this video I've put together now is it's a little bit different. It's not something that I've ever done, I think. But it's something that I thought long and hard about doing because I wasn't sure whether it was a good idea and I wasn't sure whether or not I'd get a backlash from it. And that's one of the difficulties of when you have an opinion, especially when it comes to football, that is one that splits the mindsets of our fans. It does get a bit toxic at times, and that made me think twice. Do I really want to put this video out? But after sleeping on it yesterday, because I actually was going to do this video yesterday, but unfortunately, YouTube was playing up, so I had to cut the stream short. Beg your pardon, and redo it today. So I thought, do you know what? If people want to make comments, and in my opinion, make them disingenuous and manipulative comments, and it relates to something that involves myself, why should I not speak up on it? Why should I not say something on what has been said to rebuttal it? To say, hold on a minute, that's not true. So I've decided to do it. And before I say anything, the two individuals who have made this comment, James Lawrence Alcott and Flav, this isn't personal. I'm going to attack their argument, not them as people, because I've never met James. I know nothing about this guy. So for me to say anything about him as a person is wild. Flav, I've met him once. We did a podcast with Brian Daigle, myself and Flav about the purple and gold till Tottenham is sold, Levy out. So I've met Flav once on a podcast. That's it. I don't know him like that though. So just in case anyone thinks, hold on a minute, Stell's going to attack people. No, I'm attacking the argument and what's been said. So guys, please like and subscribe to Flav and James's channels. Okay. Go over there, follow them, listen to them. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll find it interesting. Maybe you'll find it boring. It's up to you. But this isn't personal, but I do need to debunk what they've said. So what has actually happened? What's been said? Well, it's nothing crazy or wild, but it's something that does need to be addressed. By the way, big up to everyone in the comments in the chat. What I'm going to do, guys, at the end, if you've got any questions, I'll take them and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. But I just want to cover the subject first. So let's begin. Brian Daigle and myself, we did a podcast with Flav on his channel, The Fighting Cock. Please go like and subscribe to The Fighting Cock. It was series 12, episode 67, called Purple and Gold. And here's the tweet that Flav put out to promote the podcast that we did. I mean, it was about Levy out, the movement in protest of the chairman and the ownership. Now, off the back of that, Brian Daigle and I came under a lot of abuse. I mean, a lot. I was called a paedophile. I was called every name under the sun. Brian Daigle was called racist. And just in case you think I'm lying and I make this stuff up, I don't. This is real. This is what happens. But, you know, sometimes people don't want to talk on it. Here's a WhatsApp message between Flav and I. Sorry, Flav. Never thought in a million years this would happen, as we've never had this level of abuse from a Levy out debate ever. like I said, Brian and I came under a lot of abuse on social, on Twitter, on Reddit, YouTube, you name it, off the back of the podcast we did with Flav. And Flav replied saying, I've had my fair share of abuse for the pod. Do you want me to delete the podcast? So he actually acknowledged how bad it was and offered to delete the podcast. But Brian and I, we spoke about it and we thought, do you know what? Why delete it? That's what people want. The people that don't want this conversation to be had. They want to, brush it under the carpet. So we agreed with Flav, no, keep the podcast up. Anyway, that was back in June, July. Fast forward, it's now October. It's going to be November soon. And I put a tweet out last week. Non-negotiable. Back Ange in January 2024. Back Ange or Levy out. And in the tweet, I tagged. You can see it there. Spurs. I tagged Sky Sports, Talk Sport. I tagged Alistair Gold. We're Tottenham TV. Love the shirt, which is Flav's channel, The Fighting Cock. Last word on Spurs. You name it. I pretty much tagged all the so-called big accounts or well-known ones. And the reason is, I want this conversation to be had. I want people to now say, right, Ange is doing a fantastic job. Spurs fans, we're happy. We're freaking happy. Don't blow it. Don't do what you've always done, Daniel Levy. You better back Ange in January. And if not, I want him out because you're going to blow it again, just like you blew it with Redknapp and Poch and so on and so on. Okay. Now, Flav read that tweet and I tagged him in. And this is what was said on the James Lawrence Alcott channel where he did a show with Flav. Sorry, guys, keep coughing. Please make sure you subscribe to James Lawrence Alcott's channel as well. This is what the bit that was directed at me. This is what was said. Okay, so I'll play it for you now. Please let me know if you can hear the video in the chat because I had a problem with YouTube yesterday. So let me bring up the video. All right, let me start the video. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear it, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the video.
Huge amounts of revenue. Massive amount.
When do all Tottenham fans owe Daniel Levy an apology? When does that come?
This is funny you mentioned this because we got tweeted the other day the Enoch out people and this is, you mentioned recency bias. I want you to bring this up. The recency bias. I'm now going, I haven't thought about Daniel Levy really at all. And last season I was like, he's got to go. And recency bias is the cancer of all football punditry because we cannot avoid it. We cannot avoid it. And reality is the last 2 or 3 months of what's happened in your football club won't be relevant to the next, right? Anyway, it is what it is. There are people now who are staunchly Levy out, and I'm thinking that you haven't heard from them. You're like, okay, well, so the purple and gold movement is dead, right? This is the anti-Enoch out sort of colours. But now actually what they've managed to push it down the line, right? And now they're going, Levy out if he doesn't back Ange in January. I'm like,
epic reframe.
They've reframed it. And how, Jim, what a miserable way to follow a football club. If you are top of the league and you're instantly, 2 months before it's even a factor, looking for something that's about to go wrong. Yeah. Like, fuck living like that. I will not entertain it. You do it, crack on, do what you want. Just keep that poison inside you. And don't fucking spill it out to me because I'm not interested.
Okay. People.
Right. So that's what they said. A fair bit to dissect there, to say the least. A miserable way to be a fan. Poison. Wow. I'm not going to lie. I'm so disappointed with Flav because we had a podcast with him that was, in my opinion, the only so-called big channel that actually had this Levy out debate with proper Levy outers. No other channel has had this conversation with people like Brian or myself about Levy out. You get people on shows saying, yeah, I'm Levy out, and they haven't been to a protest. They haven't been part of throwing balloons on the pitch that say Levy out, ENIC out. They haven't helped organize any demonstrations, nothing, right? Yet the only person, and this is where I'll give Flav some credit, he's the only one that actually did a podcast on this. So like I said at the start, and I repeat again, this isn't me attacking them. I'm attacking the argument. And what you just heard there in that video, there it is, the video's there, is disingenuous and manipulative. And I'm going to break it down for you. And this is my reply to James and to Flav. And I will more than gladly have an adult conversation on either Flav's channel, my channel, James's channel, a neutral channel. Let's properly have this debate, because this miserable existence as a fan and poison, I'm not having that. That's disingenuous and manipulative. And I'll tell you why I think they've done that as well. But I'm going to bring in Brian Daigle in about 10 minutes. Brian, I can see you in the back. Give me 10 minutes because I just want to debunk a few things and I'm going to bring you in, okay? So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play back the video slowly, and I'm going to break it down. And then at the end, I'll bring in Brian. I know Brian's going to want to have his say on this as well. And then we'll take some questions as well. Okay, so let's start this video again from the top. I'll pause it along, and then I'll explain to you what I believe is really the situation, okay? So this is my side of what they've said. So the beginning, let's go.
Huge amounts of revenue, massive amount.
When do all Tottenham fans owe Daniel Levy an apology? When's that?
Daniel Levy, an apology. For what? The fact that you've asked that question says that you believe Spurs fans have done something wrong. What have we done wrong? Do we pay our season ticket money? Yes. Do we support the club through thick and thin? Yes. Do we make sure that stadium is packed even when we're rubbish? Yes. Do we have the highest attendance in Premier League history? Yes, we do. 90-odd thousand at Wembley Stadium. Do we pack out the away end in Europe and abroad and in this country and you name it, at home? Yes, we do. Are we supporting our club? Yes, we are. Support the team, not the regime. Why do we owe Daniel Levy an apology? One trophy, 23 years. We're a big six club, people. A top six club. This is the worst drought in the history of our club. What are we owing Daniel Levy an apology for? Because the last 4 years were really bad, and the last 10 games have been brilliant. Is that enough for an apology? I don't think so. We continue.
So this is funny you mentioned this because we got tweeted the other day.
Just a reminder, this was the tweet. Okay, that's the tweet I sent them.
That so the ENIC out people who've and this is, you know, you mentioned recency bias. I wanted to bring this up. The recency bias. I'm now going.
Recency bias. This is not recency bias. This is where they are manipulating the narrative to create something that doesn't exist. Recency bias. Recency bias is to overemphasize recent experiences or the latest information we have when estimating future events. Recency bias often misleads us to believe that recent events can give us an indication of how the future will unfold. Notice I've underlined in red recent experiences and the latest information. 23 years of what Daniel Levy and ENIC have done. Is that recent? That's over 2 decades of historical data. The last 5 years, is that recent? To me, recent is yesterday, last week, the last couple of months, maybe even 1 year, last year. Recency bias. What I am saying, back Ange or get out, that's not based on recent events. It's got nothing to do with recent events. This is 23 years, guys. 23 years. This man let down Pochettino 500 days without signing a player. He let down Redknapp by not buying those 2 players he wanted. He sacked Mourinho before a cup final. That was 2019, 2020. That's almost 4 years ago. Is that recent? This is not recency bias. Flav, you are manipulating what is going on here with that comment. And that makes it disingenuous in what you're saying.
Thought about Daniel Levy really at all. And last season, I was like, he's got to go. And recency bias is the cancer of all football punditry. But
it's not recency bias. Flav, James, I hope you're watching this video. Let me ask you some questions. Has the board failed to back managers in the past? Yes. Has the board failed to back successful managers at key junctions in the season? Yes. Has the board failed to back managers when we have been on the cusp of something good? Yes. Where is the no here to show the poison? Flav goes on to call it poison. Where is the example to show that Flav is right and we, those that want Levy out, if he doesn't back Ange, that we are wrong in a logical way? Where's the logic being applied here? There's no logic. They're just creating a narrative that doesn't exist. Why? To have a go at people like me, because I want Ange to be backed. And if you're not going to back this man after the greatest start since 1961, I want you out. And I'm setting my stall now. There's no recency bias. This is all history. These are things that have happened over 23 years. There is no logic in what you're saying, Flav. And James, you are assisting Flav to score the goal here by saying, when do Spurs fans need to give Daniel Levy an apology? Come on, guys. Where's the adult debate here? Why aren't people like myself and Brian in this conversation you're having to rebuttal it, to have some serious adult conversation on this topic, not just this narrative that you're spinning?
Because we cannot avoid it. We cannot avoid it. And reality is the last 2 or 3 months of what's happened to your football club won't be relevant to the next, right? Anyway, it is what it is. There are people now who are staunchly Levy out, and I'm thinking
we've always been staunch Levy out. Well, I've been for 5 years. I think Brian's been 10 years. So it's not just now, it's been for a while.
Thinking that you haven't heard from me. You're like, okay, well, so the purple and gold.
The reason you haven't heard from us, if you watch our channel or Tottenham on Tour or other channels that talk about Levy and Enoch as part of their content that they create, not the only content, but part of it, is because why would we protest when we're doing so well? And after the abuse that we got, Flav, even you acknowledged it, I had a fair share. Why would we go and protest when times are good and come under the most severe abuse that we've ever had? Do I want to be called a paedophile? Does Brian Daigle want to be called a racist? These are things that people do, and they create problems for us. So to protest now would invite on the most toxic of abuse that Brian and I and other protesters have come under. So to do it now is insane, right? Football is not as important as my life and me enjoying, being able to walk around without somebody wanting to stab me or shoot me. To protest now is crazy. It doesn't make sense. We're doing really well, and we want to keep doing well because we support the team, not the regime. And I hope the team continues to do well. So it's not that we've gone quiet or we've disappeared or it's dead. It would be crazy to protest now. We would come under insane abuse. Sorry, my life's more important than that kind of abuse. But again, because Brian and I aren't on these shows to debate this and put across the other side of the coin, they just say things like, oh, they've gone. No, we haven't gone. We've never gone. We're still here.
Old movement is dead, right? This is the anti-Enoch out sort of colours. But now actually what they've managed to push it down the line, right? And now they're going, Levy out if he doesn't back Ange in January.
I don't talk like that. Levy out unless he backs Ange in January. Do you see the way he delivers that to make us sound like we're something we're not? Like we're these angry, aggressive people. Levy out. I don't talk like that. I haven't spoken like that once on this podcast. Can you see what I mean about manipulating the narrative?
I'm like,
epic
sure,
reframe.
They've reframed it. And how, Jim, what a miserable way to follow a football club.
Miserable. The tragedy here is that both James and Flav have failed to do their homework. If you look at the content that myself, that Brian Daigle, that many others of us who are Levy out have put out, is it miserable? If you actually watch our content, you'll see whether we're miserable or not. This is the last maybe month of content on our channel. Romero is better than Saliba. North London is ours. Stop dismissing Tottenham. We are cooking. Look at these Arsenal fans, quiet and humble. Look at me. I've got my fist in the air outside the Emirates. I've got a smile on my face. Yeah. Sun leads team to Spurs. I've got videos of me in the stadium jumping up and down, celebrating, cheering Basuma's name. We're alive again. Good morning, Tottenham away. We're back on top. How in the blue hell is that a miserable way to support your club? It's a wild take. It's absolutely outrageous to say we are miserable in the way we support Spurs. Come on, Flav. Come on. James, are you not going to intervene and say something? Go and look at Tottenham on tour, Brian Daigle. Go and look at the content he's putting out with the boys over there. Show me where it's miserable. We're in party mode. But anyway, let's continue.
If you are top of the league and you're instantly, 2 months before it's even a factor, looking for something that's about to go wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not looking for something that's about to go wrong. I want to fight to prevent what history has shown us, what 23 years have shown us. I'm fighting so that we can see this again. A double. Glory in the 80s. The last time we won the FA Cup in 91. The Carabao Cup in 99. The Carabao Cup in 2008. I want to see that again. I want my club to do those things again. And I know it's all going to come down to one thing and one thing only, whether Daniel Levy backs Ange or not. If he doesn't back him and he does what he did to Poch, Conte, sacking Jose before a final, Harry Redknapp, if he repeats those same things again, it's all going to go catastrophically wrong. Not catastrophic. Catastrophically wrong. And we're going to be a banter club, Spursy, bottle jobs again. That's what I'm doing. And Brian Daigle, the Levy out, they're the same. Support the team before the regime. And we know the regime is the only thing stopping the team from being successful.
fuck living like that. I will not entertain it. You do it. Crack on, do what you want. Just keep that poison inside you. And don't fucking spill it out to me, because I'm not interested.
Okay.
Poison. Listen to the language. Is this poison, guys, to want this? Is it poisonous to want to see this, to see these images again at your football club? Does our channel look like it's poison? How can you call it poison? Do you know, I actually put a poll out, a couple of polls saying, is it poisonous to demand that Levy backs Ange or get out? I actually put a poll out. Look at the poll. This was a poll on Twitter, now known as X. 88.2% say no, it's not poison. 6% agreed with Flav. On YouTube, we had a much bigger response. I think it was about 300 votes. 87% said no, it's not poison. Tell me how it's poisonous to demand that our chairman does something that he's never done before. I go back to these three questions, everybody. Has the board ever backed managers in the past? Sorry, has the board failed to back managers? Yes, they've failed. Has the board failed to back successful managers at key points in a season? Yes, they failed to back managers at key points. Has the board failed to back managers when we've been on the cusp of something great? Yes, they failed. Flav, please show me the no to justify your use of the word poison. Where's the example to show that Flav is right and we're wrong in a logical way? A logical way. Look, they've made their video. They've put their statement out. All I'll say to Flav and James is, it's disingenuous what you've said. It's manipulating a narrative that doesn't exist. I want to debate the both of you on this subject in a calm, adult way. And even Brian Daigle would entertain that conversation with you guys as well. The invite is there. If you want to have a proper chat on what you've said and justify it, then let's do it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep debunking things like what you've just said because it's just downright wrong, disingenuous, and manipulative. Why do I think it's manipulative? Well, I think they're part of the media cartel. These are the people that get invited on Sky Sports, Talk Sport. These are not just them, there's many other channels. Chris Cowden, Last Word on Spurs. Several others in the game. I think even AFTV now. They have to toe the line. They have to play the game. They can't be seen to say things that goes against certain things that will stop them from getting the access to these bigger, more powerful media companies that allows them to promote what they do. I'm not part of that. I say it as it is. I keep it real because I'm a football fan. I support Tottenham, the football club. I don't have to support the regime. I don't have to support Sky Sports. I don't have to support a channel because they might cut me off or not let me speak. And that's why I think they're doing this. Because otherwise, they would have people like me, myself and Brian debate them on these subjects. Think about it. How many shows do you watch where they say, oh, but we're balanced. We have balanced conversation. How can you have a balanced conversation on ENIC and Levy if you don't have people from the Levy out and ENIC out group to represent that side of the argument? Unless Brian, myself, and others who are properly Levy out are there to represent that side of the argument, there is no balance to when you channels, all the ones that I tagged, right? All the ones that I tagged in the tweet. Last Word on Spurs. Alistair Gold. We Are Tottenham. No, We Are Tottenham TV. They have the conversation. They do have it. The Fighting Cock, Chris Cowlin. They don't have this conversation with Levy out. So there is no balance to what they say. Otherwise, you haven't got both sides of the coin, right? Guys, I'm going to bring in Brian Daigle. Am I wrong to say this? Where is the balanced debate? I'm going to bring in Brian to have his say. Guys, remember, please like and subscribe to Flav and James's channel. This is not an attack on them. I am challenging what they've said, though. I am attacking their argument here. Brian, brother, I'm going to bring you in. Why are you not being added? That's why.
Hello, sir. How are you doing, brother? And everyone watching?
Yeah, I'm Brian, listen, Spurs are top of the table. I'm still creating positive, happy content. I'm good. But I've got to say, you know, I put this out. You know, I put it out. I shared it with you. I want to see Ange backed because I know what the past has shown us. And the past isn't a recent past. It's a past that's been going on for 23 years. And I put this out because I don't want to see us blow it again. And I've seen us blow it so many times. And you know as well as I, right now, Arsenal fans, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, especially after the VAR incident happened at our ground, they are waiting for us to collapse. They're waiting for us to crumble. And I know, and I think you know as well, the only thing that can stop this is the chairman and ENIC by not doing what is needed. And based on the past 23 years, I'm starting the narrative now. You better back this guy because 10 games, top of the table, does not repair anything in the past unless we take this somewhere now. Over to you, brother.
So what I will say, first of all, I've got three things I want to bring up. And you and I have been talking about the show over the weekend and the end of the week doing this. And then when I saw you doing it, I was like, yeah, I've got to get on. So first of all, with that interview where they're saying about preparing, big up everyone, big up. I said it earlier on, so having a Wagwan Brian Daigle and Wagwan from Donna Cullen is one of the best things ever. You got to love it. And just think that she's saying that.
She's a channel member as well.
Exactly, which is all good. Big up everyone. So in that video, as I was watching, Jay, big up, brother. Big up Spurs 72. So James mentioned about bringing it up 2 months before, blah, 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 and used the word poison and whatever. Well, I just want to say this is a bit, like you were saying, what were the words? I want you to do two things for me. One, can you bring up that tweet with your wording that you tagged those people in?
Yeah.
And then just read the, don't read what was it? The words you said, my eyes, the time is coming.
What it says is, the time is coming. We never went anywhere, meaning purple and gold, Levy out. We never went anywhere. January 2024, back Ange or Levy out, non-negotiable. Back Ange or Levy out, non-negotiable.
That's all I need to hear. So you said that. And he said, anyone planning 2 months in advance, can you share your screen, go onto YouTube and type in Alistair Gold?
YouTube.
Yep, go onto YouTube.
Yep.
Type in Alistair Gold. And it just goes to show it depends who's saying it. Because what Alistair Gold has just titled his latest video that he brought out yesterday.
1 second, Brian. Let me share the screen. There we go. Right, so this is Alistair Gold's YouTube channel. Where do you want me to go?
Go to his videos.
Yep.
And see the title. What's that title say? The very first video there.
Yeah, it says Tottenham must throw everything behind Postecoglou plus Sarr and that Romero and Van der Ven.
Just that first sentence. Tottenham must give or whatever the words are to Postecoglou. But that's Alistair Gold that has basically said Levy has to back Postecoglou. But it's not you or I or a Levy outer has said it. So no one will say a word. No one will say a word. That is Alistair Gold, 2 months before a window, having a conversation about how the board must give Ange everything he wants. But seeing that it's Alistair Gold saying it, not Stelios O'Brien or Danny Kyriakou or anyone else that is known Levy out, Ryan Isaacs, nothing will be said. Flav and anyone else won't, but they will not now do a video saying, oh my God, Alistair Gold 2 months before, poison, which was a word used. Won't use it at all because it's Ali Gold.
Do you think it's because I've specifically put, if they don't back him, it's Levy out?
Probably, but this is the thing. You said exactly what Gold ain't saying Levy out, but he's saying you've got to back him. He's saying you've got to back him, you've got to do it. And that's Alistair Gold saying it, but nothing will be said by other people because it's Ali Gold that said it, not you and me.
Right. You know what's interesting? Sorry, I want you to finish your 3 points. I just say what's interesting is Alistair Gold's put that video out after I've tweeted him and tagged him in as well.
So he's done that video. Like I said, no one will attack him or say, what are you doing? We're top of the league. Why are you talking about this? Because it's Ali Gold. And fair play, Ali Gold does report these things and does mention it, but because it's Ali Gold and he says it the way he says it, he won't get mentioned. Like, you won't see Flav and James, and they're two top guys. Like you said, their content's great, but what they've said here is not on. No one will now pick up on Ali Gold saying, oh my God, what's Ali Gold saying? Second thing I wanted to mention was obviously when people say, oh, the recency button, oh my God, we're top of the league with this, with that. There was a time under Harry Redknapp where we were very, very much in a title race. Big up, Perchy, brother. Where we were very, very much in a title race. Very much in it. And we know Tevez and Cahill, Nelson and Saha. We've seen this before. And what we're going to do if it screws up, I'm not saying it will. Listen, it could turn around in January. January could be an incredible window. And it's like, oh, well done. Here we go. But we've been here before. And it's not recency bias. I'm going back to Harry Redknapp. I'm not even bringing Poch into this conversation. This was when we were genuinely in with a title race. When this was the time where it wasn't like 4, 5, 6 people that could challenge. This was us in a serious challenge. And we didn't do it. And then the third one is obviously, Stel, you saw the Twitter spat that I got involved in on Saturday. There is a certain person who is Levy out, who out of the blue and all of a sudden has started coming for me for no reason, saying, "Oh, I'm only Levy out when we're losing. I'm only Levy out when things are bad, and I'm now doing everything for likes and follows," which I have never ever been about. If someone said to me, "Levy sells the club tomorrow, but Brian, you can never be on YouTube again," goodbye, ta-da, see you later. And he was saying, "You don't talk about it anymore. You don't mention it anymore. You don't do this anymore. You don't do that anymore." I was like, "Well, mate, are you having a laugh? If it wasn't for people like you and me on We Are Tottenham TV, Levy wouldn't have got half the airtime that it does now." I, along with Ryan Isaacs and Graham, who's in the chat, not January just gone, the January before, spent 3 weeks outside the training ground from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Been at all the protests, do all the stuff that we do. And I said to him, "Have you ever been to a protest?" And this guy who staunch Levy out goes, "No, I haven't been to a protest. The numbers aren't big enough." And I'm like, well, surely the people that said the numbers aren't big enough, if you all came, then we'd have the numbers. So out of the blue now, you've got Levy out people attacking people that Levy out and doing stuff. We couldn't get the numbers when things were bad. So how do people think all of a sudden, if we start going mentally mad on Levy out now, we're going to attract more people?
Brian, let's have it right, okay? This is when massive Levy out chants were happening and the fan base was really beginning to turn against the ownership. During that period, people were posting pictures of Auschwitz and the Holocaust to attack you as a Jew, right?
Yeah.
I was getting pictures of Jimmy Savile and he's a paedophile. I'm thinking, this is when you're on our side. This is when you're on our side, right?
Yeah.
If we were to protest now, other than being stabbed and shot, I don't know what else people expect is going to happen to us.
Yeah, well, you look at it like Ryan's always said. Ryan has always said, we back the team, not the regime.
Support
right now,
regime.
everything on that football pitch is incredible. Did I have a mini heart attack when Van der Ven went down on Friday and it looked bad and I was like, oh no, Dyer's coming in, and I started screaming every name under the sun to Levy? Yes, I did. But Van der Ven was fine. We're on a roll at the moment. On the footballing side, things have changed. And as I put in a comment on your show that you're doing on the Love Lounge, I've said for this whole time, for me, January has nothing to do with how much money we spend. Doesn't matter what league we sign players from, whether it be the A-League in Australia, the Japanese League, the MLS, the Premier League, whoever. It's not about how much we spend. It's not about if we know the players or not, because Ange has got the eye for the players and we can trust Ange. It's the whole way I'm judging Daniel Levy this January is how quick players come in. Because Saab, Basuma, Son are gone. And we need these players in quick. No, oh, we want Porro on the 1st of January. Let's drag it out for 31 days and get the deal done. If we are where we are, players need to come in quick to replace those players and be within the team. That's the whole way I'm basing this window with Levy.
Let me bring in this comment here from someone watching, okay? So Ange will be backed with everything we've got, but that might not be good enough for you. Now, for me, there is no evidence to suggest that Ange will be back with everything we got, but I'm happy for that opinion to exist. So if you really believe this, brilliant. I hope this happens. This is why I'm saying you better do this, otherwise get out the club, Levy, right? So I hope this is true, but there's no evidence to back up this comment. But this bit at the end about, but that might not be good enough for you, I'm going to put it out there now. Clearly, Mola doesn't watch enough of my content to hear what I say. Otherwise, he wouldn't say this. Brian, you can tell people what you think. For me, I don't care who we sign. I agree with you. J League, A League, B League, Saturn League, Mars League, do what you want. All I want to know is that we go out there and we sign approximately 3 players for key positions that we're going to be lacking in if we have to make a substitution, and Ange wants those players, as in they work for me as the manager and it works for my system. So if we go and buy a player from Bournemouth that a lot of fans go, really? But Ange is, yes, really? I will back that, and I'll back the board for doing that. I don't expect us to go and sign Ivan Toney, Kvaratskhelia, all these top players. If we do, fucking brilliant. Well done, Daniel Levy. But for me, I just want to make sure that we get in the kind of players that the manager specifically wants for his system. And for me, that is enough. I don't know how you feel about it, Brian.
Mate, I will tell you now, if we sign 3 players and 2 of them are loan till the end of the season and one's a transfer fee or even a free, but they're what Ange wanted and they're in quick. Like I said, I'm judging this all on speed that they come in on. If we don't spend a penny, we get 2 loan players and a free transfer, and it's in positions that strengthen the team, and it's done at the beginning of the window, so they're there to help the team, I will go on every channel, on every Twitter, and say, do you know what? Well done, Daniel. You have backed Ange. That's all I want. I do not care how much money we spend. It's not even about finances. The way you back the team right now is getting players in quick to replace your Sons, Basumas, Sars. Or, we got Bentancur and Højbjerg. So midfield is that we got Valise. But if we can bring in genuine players that add strength to this squad, don't care about their price, but they come in quick. Not a Pedro Porro that drags on. Not a Kulusevski and Bentancur on the last day. If these players come in quick, that for me is a successful window. And that for me, I will say, well done, Daniel. No problem whatsoever. No problem. That's
Brian.
what
Brian, do you think? Okay, you might be a bit biased because you are Levy out, but do you think that it's right that we're told that we are living in a miserable way as fans for saying that this chairman better back Ange, otherwise get out in January? Is that a miserable way of supporting your football club, or do you see it as, no, I'm preempting what I've seen for the last 23 years, and I want to make sure they don't make the same mistake?
Exactly, mate. Listen, it's like people use that analogy with if you've got a cheating partner. Every time they've cheated, every time they go out, you're going to be worried. You're going to be concerned what they're doing, where are they, who they with. And that's where I am, like you are still. I am completely, we've been here before. We've been here with Poch without signing the players for 18 months. We've been here where we've gone for players and it hasn't materialised. We've been there where deals are arranged and it's dragged out. There is too much of it. Mate, listen, I am loving this season. I'm having the time of my life. I've watched more Match of the Day this season than I did the entirety of last season. You showed your reel of recent content. Our content's been cockerel doodle doo, talking about the good things, and your management reviewing the games.
Mine is cheering and jumping up and down and celebrating.
Exactly.
The performance.
It's what all our content has been. And I go back to how I started when I came in. You've said one thing. I can say the same thing. Alistair Gold or someone says exactly the same thing, but without adding the words Levy out or saying the same thing.
It's the Levy out bit that seems to bother a lot of these podcasts and channels. Brian, I know my words are controversial when I say this, but I truly believe this, only because when I did a show with Michael Bridge on it, he said to me, look, I can't say certain things. My contract, I'll get into trouble. I honestly believe, because the likes of Flav, and I'm guessing James, because he's got quite a big channel, and maybe the Chris Cowlins and last one on Spurs, because you see them representing Spurs fans on Sky Sports and Talk Sports, you don't see any other Spurs fans getting that representation. Because they're representing us, I am sure, being told you can and can't do certain things. Therefore, I've always noticed the Levy out thing, 2 things happen. 1, they're quick to find a way to shut it down. Mm-hmm. And 2, they never have Levy outers on there to argue the other side of the coin. We're never asked, do you guys actually want to come and properly debate this? The only one that did it was Flav with you and I, which is why I was so disappointed when he made those comments. And this is why I had to do the video, because I was actually gutted that Flav did that because I thought Flav was a little bit more balanced with it. But for me, I don't see the balance.
Well,
with
do
this one.
you know what it is? I'll show you as well.
And it's not him as a person, Brian. It's what he
No.
said.
Flav, we had our
it's the
interaction with
comment.
Flav. I spoke to him a little bit after show. He's a really good guy. Got a lot of time for Flav. Respect him. His podcasts are really, really good. But what you got to remember,
I can subscribe to Flav and James, guys, down there.
what you got to remember, what's easy now is the international break just gone. There's YouTube channels that are looking for content to create because obviously it's a dry period. You can do the roundup of whatever the international players. We don't revert back to, let's use this time to talk Levy out. But these other people that don't speak how our channels do, when it's a dry moment, they can easily revert back and go, oh, look, the Levy outers are popping up. And it will drum traffic their way. They can revert back to it as a safety net. And say, there's not a lot to talk about. Oh, Stel's just put this tweet out. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. The Levy out are rearing their ugly heads again, or as they put it. This is where we are. It's come to this point. We are in a position. I am in awe of Ange Postecoglou. At the moment, the club are moving 100% in the right direction. 100%. Still, you and I were at the training. You and I came in for abuse. We attended the training ground to see how the youth are being coached and what the method is to get them into the first team. That was what that was about. You and I got sheer grief because we're Levy out. We went into a training ground.
Well, it's funny because we get. Do you know what, Brian? I actually, honestly, truly believe people don't follow us enough to actually hear and listen to what we do. They just they're very quick to make an assessment without doing any research. Levy out, they're a problem, right? Can you please actually listen and watch? But that's their. Do you know what? They've created that problem because they don't invite us or they don't dare to have the debate on this topic enough, but yet they want to talk about it without knowing anything about it because they don't speak to us. There's no way you know what's going on fully to have an educated assessment unless you bring on the people that you're talking about to have a debate to say, actually, do you know what? I never thought of it that way. Right, now I get it. But they don't do that. And likewise, I don't get put enough in front of people that are real supporters of Enoch and Levy for me to see why they feel that way. So it works a bit both ways, but I don't go out, nor do you, calling the Levy inners, you're miserable. You don't share your poison with me. Like, what is that about? I mean, what?
Yeah.
How's that happened?
This is always going to be the way. Still, this is always going to be like what would happen? Listen, I've said and you said this is how we're back in Ange in January, and if this happens, like I said, we could sign 3 free transfers. If they come in quick, Ange has been back in my eyes. Ange has been back. We needed players in quick. That's what I needed. It's not about the money. But you'll see people now. If January goes the way it normally has gone, those people that were saying, "Oh, when do we give an apology to Levy? When do we do this? When do we do that?" What do you reckon they'd be saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Brian. I hear you.
You and I have always come out, and if I've said something wrong, like recently, Vicario, I went nuts when we didn't get Raya. Absolutely nuts on We Are Tottenham TV, and said, "Oh, the cheaper options." My God, did I get that wrong? My God, was I a fool? And I came out straight away and said, "You know what? Fair play. I fucked up. I screwed up. I got that wrong. Well done, club. Well done, Levy. Well done, Paratici. Well done." But it doesn't work the other way around. I will admit when I'm wrong. I will say I'm wrong. And I've always said, and you've always said still, there's nothing more we'd love to do than come on these channels and go, "Do you know what? We got it wrong. My God,
Brian
are we
Daigle,
in the mud?"
I've said if Daniel Levy keeps a manager for more than 3 minutes, okay, and he backs him every window, you will not hear a word out of me, because then and only then will I turn around and say, right, this is on the manager now, because he's been backed with time
Yep.
and with recruitment. The two things
Correct.
I've always wanted to see Spurs do. For me, ambition isn't winning the big trophies. It's putting your team in a position where they can genuinely do it. And you can only do that if you give a manager time and the right recruitment. If we do these two things, you're not going to hear Levy out from me. You're not going to hear a peep out of me.
Well,
But,
so
but someone's
look
got to push that to happen, because if we get complacent as a fan base, this board will take the mick. We know what they're like. We know what they'll do.
So you got to look at it as well, and this is where I'll give credit to the club and the board. I can't remember a time where we're talking about, and I've spoken about a lot on our channel, I'm sure you have on Tottenham, where I'm trying to decide if Vicario, Van der Ven or Maddison are the signing of the season.
Brian, that summer window we had
It's
is
fantastic.
It's the best transfer window this club's ever had under ENIC and Levy, maybe even in the last 30 years. And I think it's the best window of any club in the Premier League. Hats off to Levy. Hats off to ENIC. Hats off to Paratici. You played an absolute freaking blinder. But here's the thing. One window.
Correct. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Keep that going. Keep it up. That's all I'm.
And you can even make, even though it wasn't even bought in this window, he's had his first. You can add destiny into this as well.
Dogi,
you can't say signing of the season because he didn't sign.
Porro, Bissouma.
Yeah, it's been. They're there now.
And what signing Ange's? Ange's a great signing.
Yeah, you look at it. Everything recently, but like you said, this is one window in 46. Let's make it 2 windows in 47. Let's make it 3 windows in 48. Let's make it 4 and start getting that number up. And then you're like, do you know what? Things are happening and things are changing. It's very, very premature right now. Don't get me wrong. Everything is pointing in the right direction. Everything is going like that right now. Everything is going like that. And we have to wait and see.
Brian, as a Spurs fan, I can tell you, because you're over there in Canada now. Every home game I've been to this season, it's been just a joy to be there. I've enjoyed being a Spurs fan. I'm loving every moment. And for me, when I put stuff like this out, right? When I put stuff like this out, it's to make sure I keep that happy moment going. I don't want to see the vibe, the atmosphere just derailed because we go and do something stupid in January. Correct. That's for me where and I know it's clearly bothered Flav, and James is saying that we should apologize to Daniel Levy, but I bring up these questions, Brian. Has the board failed to back managers in the past? Has the board failed to back successful managers at key points in a season? Has the board failed to back managers when we've been on the cusp of something good? Every single time it's been, they failed.
Yep.
They need to prove themselves wrong. They need to show us they've genuinely changed. Is this just a flash in the pan, or are you now going to back a freaking manager that is good enough? Redknapp was good enough. Poch was good enough. Ange is good enough. Ange is good enough.
Yep. Still, listen, on that note, like you said, when it comes to how home goes around, the last thing I'll say...
Mourinho was good enough, Brian. Mourinho was good enough, but we sacked him before the final.
Yeah. Last thing I'll quickly say, because I've got to go on Holly's show, but when you say how good it's been at home, listen, the first game I was back here at the Scotland Yard was a 7:30 kickoff for Luton. So 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, we're getting close to 100 people at the Scotland Yard. The Fulham game, which was a Monday, 3:00, where there's normally very few people, there was 60, 70 people. People are taking, and you got to remember, this is around the world. People that have got not the right time zones where it works effectively for them are taking time out to go out and socialise and be, because it's a great time to be a Spurs fan. And let's hope January gives us more reason to be. But listen, Stab, I have to leave you there.
I'm going to wrap up in a minute anyway, Brian, because I've got my show tonight.
Well, always a pleasure. Everyone in the chat, hope you have a good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And there's only one way I can leave a show about this, isn't it? And as always, Levy out.
He hasn't done that in ages. He hasn't said, and as always, leave you out in ages. Guys, listen, I'll take some questions for about 10 minutes, then I've got to go because we've got a podcast tonight at 8:30 where the whole team will be on and we're going to have a chat about everything Spurs. But listen, whilst I do begin to wrap things up, James and Flav, if you do happen to watch this, let's debate this like adults. This miserable and poison, man, just cut that out of the conversation, man, for real. It's just a wild take. Yeah, guys, if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. Happy to take a couple of questions for a little bit, and then I'm going to wrap it up and do the show tonight at 8:30. Don't forget, tonight, 8:30 UK time. It's the Monday night podcast, our favourite show of the week. Well, my favourite show of the week. Yeah, well, I mean, what do you think, guys? Do you think it's poisonous to demand that the chairman either backs the manager in January or he gets out of the club? Do you think it's a miserable way to live, to be thinking now, right, January is important, you better do something? Even Ali Gold has said, throw everything at Ange and Jan. Even Ali Gold has said it. Okay, not the leave you out bit, but like I said, the media cartel, they're not allowed to speak like true fans. They're not allowed to really say it because they will lose their access to the big interviews. They'll lose their access to Sky Sports. They'll lose their access to Talk Sport. It's their bread and butter. It's what makes them, right? So they play the game rather than keep it real. I can't do that. Mourinho was sacked because Levy wanted him to rest big players for a final to go for top four instead. That is the rumour. Has any Levy disciple ever come on to debate you ever? Mate, I've asked to go on their shows and debate them, all of them. I'm doing it now. I've even said, Flav, James, I'll chat to you about this. Let's debate. They don't do it. Flav did do it, but it was more to gain an understanding of why we feel that way rather than to debate it. He didn't put us on a show with others who think differently to have the debate. The problem isn't only the backing, but it's also getting the right recruitment. It's all about the recruitment. I think that's what backing means, isn't it? To recruit the right players. Saar, 14 million. Vicario, 17 have proven it isn't about big money. I agree. I absolutely agree with you. Ange needs to be backed by at least Kane's cash minimum. So 100 million is what you're saying. Question, who is your priority position in the January transfer window? For me, I think we need either a goal-scoring midfielder or an attacking striker to get more goals, because we are so heavily dependent on Son. Everyone said that we were Kane. Well, not everyone. A lot of people used to say we were Kane FC. Without Kane, we're nothing. Well, we've now become Son FC. So something needs to happen there. That would be my priority. Although I am very nervous about the centre back position situation if Van de Ven or Ricardo get injured. Do you think Brendan Johnson should start? 100%. I don't think Richarlison should be at the football club, Daniela. I don't think he doesn't fit the system. He doesn't have the attributes of what Ange Ball is about. I think he's a bad signing. In fact, when we played Crystal Palace, the way he played, the way Richarlison plays, I think he's better suited to Crystal Palace because he's good in the air. And Crystal Palace, they like corners and set pieces. I think Richarlison would do well at Crystal Palace, not Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, I can see a scenario where Kulu would go on the left and Brendan goes on the right. I think that's worth a go, no doubt. Maybe you could have delivered the message in a less in-your-face way. How is it in your face? I'm very to the point. But that's the only thing I can say. Your message is correct still. Big up. How would you do it in a less in your face way, Dunzeldorp? Like for me, it's, you know, if you don't back Ange in January, if you don't properly back him in January, how can this chairman stay at this club anymore? This is the best chance we've ever had to do something. I'm telling you, the start we've had, we are not going to see another start like this. Everything has gone our way, and we've put in the effort and the performances to back it as well. You have got to grab this moment and say, do you know what? I'm not saying it's the Leicester City moment, and I'm not saying we'll do what they did, but damn it, we've got a chance to maybe repeat it. Throw everything you've got at it and see where we end up. It's Man City's to lose. They're the best team in the land for me still. But let's make them work for it. Arsenal are going to make them work for it. Can we make them work for it as well? Liverpool will probably make them work for it. Can we be in the conversation? That's what I want to know. Can we be in the conversation? It's going to be whether or not Daniel Levy puts us in the conversation. Guys, I'm literally going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, okay? At what point will Levy and ENIC out protest change their stance on Levy? How many trophies will it take? And also, what is it consistently... Let me start again. At what point will Levy out protests change their stance on Levy? For me, I've said it already. Keep a manager in place for 3 years and back him every window with the players that he needs for his system. And then it's not about the ownership anymore. This is on the manager. Or win trophies. Win a couple of trophies in a short space of time. And then I'll relax. That's my kind of point of where I'll relax on the whole ENIC and Levy out. How many trophies will it take? I don't think it's how many, it's what type. If we win 2 Carabao Cups, it's better than nothing. I'll enjoy it. I'll celebrate it. But if we win a league title, I mean, for me, that's the greatest achievement ever. Because the last time we did it was in 61. If we win a European trophy again, wow. That's something we haven't done since the 80s. So maybe it's more about the type of trophy. Did you ever apologize for not liking the Van der Ven? I never disliked it. Go back and listen. I said there's areas of concern I have. And I also put into that video, but he's young enough to be coached. I did say that he's young enough to be coached. And the way he's playing, the way he's being coached, listen, what a signing. I'm not apologizing for that. I'll apologize for Vicario because I said he's dodgy on coming off his line and collecting the ball. And it happened in the first 2 games of the season. But since then, Vicario's been fire. I'll apologize for Vicario. Right? Vicario, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. But I'm not apologizing for this one. How are you notified of what other content creators are saying? Is it via social media or by watching other channels? People send it to me. That's how. If I'm honest with you. I don't really watch many content creators. There's just too many. And I haven't got the time in the day to do my thing and their thing and watch him and watch her. But I get sent stuff and I'll watch clips. And if the clip's good or it catches my attention, I'll watch a bit more of it. My mate is friends with his brother-in-law, the board guy you see holding the sub-boards. He told him that was the reason. If he ever writes a book about his time at Spurs, it'll be a good one. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. I probably missed the conversation a bit earlier on that one. Ange said, I'm the one calling the shots with the recruits. Yes, he did. Why not give the next window a chance? I will. And not project on it. Because the history tells us otherwise. Managers in the past have said, I'm happy with my players when they weren't. Managers have often towed the line to keep it sweet. So for me, the proof is what I see, not what people say. Isn't it the saying, actions speak louder than words? Still, why did you leave so quickly yesterday? Because the podcast collapsed. The YouTube was faltering. And apparently it's happening across lots of YouTube channels. So I had to start again and do it today. I personally think a centre back should be a top priority as the fall off from Van der Ven and Romero and Dyer and a young Phillips. Yeah, no, listen, I hear your point, but because we're an attacking team, we need people that can finish off the chances. Watching Richarlison miss the target every game it's unbearable. If we were a more defensive, pragmatic team, I'd say yes, a defender's priority, but we're not. We're an attacking team, so let's double down on our strengths. 1 game a week, there's a chance. There's a chance for anything in life. I don't know how you really can say it another way. That's why I don't judge you for saying it still. All right, cool, man. Respect. With the or it's Levy out, maybe they're thinking you're waiting for it to go wrong. If I was waiting for it to go wrong, I wouldn't be putting all these positive videos on my YouTube channel. Guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up there, but I hear your point, Phil Coyes. Big up to you, my brother. We will be on later on tonight at 8:30 8. Make sure you tune in. Please, guys, remember, like and subscribe to Flav and James's channel. And I'm attacking what they've said, not who they are as people. I don't know them well enough as people to judge or even dare do a video about them as personalities, right? But the comments they made were disingenuous and manipulative, and that's why I had to make this video. All right, guys, I'll see you later on tonight for the Tottenham Way podcast. Peace to you all. Hope to catch you later. Come on, you Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away.